and then you have the back pocket. And I suppose one of the reasons it could be referred to as an inset pocket is this section here is kind of inset shaping here. So this is what you called a hip pocket. A quick tip for the garment itself is to put a strip of fusible interfacing along the shaping of the pocket. This helps to kind of reduce the stretching. If you don't have any, stay stitching would do. I've got the lining and the front section of the garment. They are right side to right side, and I'm going to sew along this edge here. Okay. I'm just using contrasting thread just to show you what it looks like. Remember, always use the same fabric, or as near as possible to the fabric that you're actually using for your sewing project. I'll just reverse there and remove that, so you can see what I've done there. Just going to cut my tails off, and then I'm going to trim and grade this edge here, and you can see at the back is the facing there. I've now trimmed and graded the pocket, so as you can see I've also clipped into it because it's a curved edge, and this clipping actually allows the curve to lie better. And also the trimming and grade is to make sure that you have as least possible bulk within the seam. The next row of stitching I need to do is the understitching, which is going to be keeping this lining to the back of the skirt, the wrong side. So I'm going to be doing it onto the lining, roughly a couple of millimetres away from the seam line. Yeah, it's about a couple. Just get my needle in. And just take your time, because you are working around a curve, and make sure you are as close as possible to the seam line, but not on the seam line itself. And as I said, it's just to keep the lining in place so it doesn't show on the right side of the garment. So just keep both of your hands at the front and just keep it splayed apart until you come to the end. I'm almost there. There we go. And then just, okay. See, now that should go nicely to the back of the garment and pressed in position. I've now pressed the inner pocket, and as you can see we now have a nice beautiful curve, and that will now stay in place because I've done the understitching. Now we need to get the back of the pocket, and the shape looks like this. And then we'll position that. Remember, you'll be matching up all your markings on there. I will just flip this so you can have a look underneath. So I'll put in, match up your notches or your balance marks, whichever one you call it. So I'll just put a couple of pins, and then I'm going to sew from this point here all the way around. I'm now at my machine and sewing the back pocket onto the lining of the pocket. Remember, I'm not sewing onto the garment, just the lining of the other pocket. Pins that as I go. Pins that as I go, and I shall finish at this point here. There we go. Back stitch. And remove. There we have the lining that side and the back of the pocket that side. The pocket is now sewn, so we've got the front of the garment, we've got the inner lining of the pocket there, and that's nicely been pressed and understitched. And if I just show you this section here, you can see where the interfacing is, and I've trimmed and graded and notch the shaping of the pocket so it lies beautifully. This is the lining of the pocket and the back of the pocket. Now you may notice here that I have an opening here. Now, because this is only the front section of the garment, and if you can imagine, this is going to be the side seam, so don't imagine it because it will be the side seam of a garment, and you can either sew this in place before actually putting on the other section and then sewing it into the seam, or you can just put a couple of pins in like so.